Hi, everyone. Welcome to this fireside chat with Matt Lehman from Amazon. We'll be more specifically talking about, container security, runtime security, observability into containerized workloads. Matt, thank you so much for joining here. Can you start, Matt, with, just introducing yourself a little bit on, what are you really looking after at Amazon, the structure of your application workloads, and more specifically, really, right? How are you leveraging, containerized offerings like AWS Fargate and more? So over to you, Matt.
Sure. So we actually have workloads ranging from bare metal servers, some of our older legacy environments, all the way to all the containerized solutions that AWS supports, and then kind of past that full serverless like Lambda.
Mhm.
Fargate is probably our preferred container environment. It takes a lot of the effort out of the deploy cycle for our developers. Has the best kind of pay-as-you-go model, and gives us some choice underneath to use ECS or EKS. So individual teams wanting to be having their cluster environment being Kubernetes based can make that decision, or kind of using the traditional ECS model. On top of that, we've actually built, from a build perspective, we've built some common internally developed frameworks that are wrapped around that make the deployment in container build environment even easier for our developers. So Fargate ends up being a pretty attractive container orchestration layer within our service teams that we support. The individual workloads in terms of size and shape can look a little bit different from team to team because they're building different types of things. I think in one side of the business where we could be looking at alternate payment methods, and another side of the business where building the front end screens for taking a credit card transaction inside of Amazon.com, and another team could be looking at trying to build vault solutions for how we house card information. So they're very different sort of use case setups. But I think in general, we've tried really hard as we've made the move to micro containers over the last probably 5 to 6 years,
Mhm.
to not bring our to not bring our monolithic style architecture into monolithic style containers. So we were pretty cognizant of that up front and tried to avoid it. So I'll pause there. Is there a specific area in there you wanted to dive deeper into?
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. No, this is super helpful, really, right? And Fargate, I think it's sort of, as you explained, right, makes sense. It takes away the management headache from the teams. It scales, certainly. Is there also any other modality apart from Fargate, like let's say AWS Lambda, or you also have EKS clusters that you're running on the side as a mix, or it is predominantly AWS Fargate?
Yeah, I think the answer is whatever can be. We probably have one of those at least. So we
Sure.
have so we have the whole long tail ecosystem, no matter what we say. But I think Fargate will be the predominant thing you see investment in. It's pretty good investment in Lambda as well. So I think we make strategic use of serverless for a lot of short-lived functions. If you think about containers as a continuum, you can have long running containers all the way to single instance use containers. And I think when we start getting near that end of the spectrum where we're popping a container to do something and then we're retiring it afterwards, that's where Lambda starts to look obviously a lot more attractive. So that's kind of our mental model too about how we look at it.
Yeah, makes total sense. I mean, you've got stateful, you've got stateless, you've got a mix of underlying container commodities rather, or Kubernetes commodities essentially, or functions essentially based on the type of workload that you have. So it's basically everything. I could totally see that, Matt. It's probably everything under the sun that AWS provides really is somehow or other part of your infrastructure really. So awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for that.
Listen to the full interview at deepfence.io/resources.